What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. Today I'm doing a discussion video. It's kind of a long-form thinking piece, almost kind of like a podcast, but not really. I'm thinking about maybe like once a month inviting somebody on the channel to kind of talk about a certain topic. Maybe you guys can leave requests for things in the comments, but my friend Paige and I had this idea for a collaboration and we made it happen. I hope you enjoy it. I know it might be longer, but I think it's worth it, and I think we have a lot of great points and some good discussion as well. We're talking about nostalgia in music, loving the way things used to be, but also loving the conveniences of new and modern technology and just all of the changes that have happened along the way. Stick around for the journey. I will put kind of the talking points and the timestamps in the description, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thanks to the magic of the internet, I'm joined today by my friend Paige Backstage.
Hello.
Up and coming YouTuber. You started your channel, how long ago has it been since you launched?
3 months ago?
3 months. That's not long at all. And today we're talking about music. Obviously, that's what both of our channels seem to be mainly centered around, and just kind of the nostalgia that you feel from the way things used to be and just how much technology has changed music in our lives. I mean, I think it's fair to say that things are a lot different than, like, say when we were 10 years old, right?
I would definitely say so. There was no way that I was discovering bands on my own without the radio or much music back when they played music.
Exactly. And much music for you was like Fuse for me, and I think we discussed earlier that like Fuse was the offshoot of Much Music in America. Paige is Canadian for anyone who might not be familiar. But Fuse is like one of those channels, and I'm sure Much Music was for you. It was one of those things, that's where you were getting your music from, or else you had the radio on in the car and you were seeing music videos. Like we had MTV obviously as well, having things in pretty heavy rotation. And I think that we probably both started getting into music in a time where it was a weird transitional period, you know? Like new things like YouTube and just like downloading MP3s and iTunes were coming into the forefront. And like, how did that kind of like affect you coming up? Did you have like an iPod? Did you have iTunes? Or were you like just listening to the radio, buying CDs?
Well, when I was a kid, I have distinct memories of actually like feigning illness to stay home from school and watch Much Music, because they would play like all the music videos on rotation through the day. And they had an hour, because I live in Canada, they had an hour called French Kiss, and it was all French language music. And like, it helped me learn French. It was awesome. But then I think in the 7th grade, I got an iPod that my dad won in something at his office. And it was like a brick, and nobody else had one. And everybody was like, what is that? I was like, I don't know, but I have like 6 songs on here. It's really cool. I think I just had like Green Day's American Idiot, and that was it.
That's all you need. That's what got me started. Obviously, that was a huge influential album for me. Like my first memories of like sneaking around, like getting music, because my parents like were pretty strict and didn't approve of like the devil music like that. I remember taking like a CD like from my friend. They had American Idiot, burning a copy for myself. And it's just so crazy because nowadays you would never think to like that's how you're gonna get music to a friend, you know, like, oh yeah, like let me burn you a CD. It's like, let me make you a Spotify playlist and I'll shoot you the link.
Exactly. My mom used to get mad at me because I'd go over to my friend's house with my CDs, because she really didn't have a lot of music discovery going on, and I would show up with like a whole stack of CDs and be like, put all of these on your computer. And my mom would be like, she didn't pay for those. Don't do that. But now it's like,
that's illegal.
This is, I know, my mom was like, you're gonna get in trouble. And I was like, I'm 12, I can't go to jail, I'm not ready.
I'm too young.
It's not time.
I was in over my head, and like I just started this new school in like grade 7, and it was really like weird because I was trying to like make friends, and I was like, oh sure, like I can definitely hook you guys up with all these burn CDs, because I had the CD burner, and everyone started coming to me, and I was like, this is how I get popular. I'm the music guy.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Exactly. I feel like I missed out on a lot, like in that like that day and age, I guess, in my heyday, when I would have liked to have been going to shows, I wasn't able to. I mean, other than like a few like bands that my parents would like really approve of, basically like family oriented music and that sort of thing. I think Switchfoot was the first band that I ever saw live, but I just remember being at concerts and it being like a totally different vibe than it is today, you know?
For sure. I think the only concerts I went to as a kid were Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera with Justin Timberlake. And so like the entire like Disney Mickey Mouse Club trifecta.
I'm glad your mind went there, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, so the Mickey Mouse Club crew, cool.
But none of them were putting out music that was like kid friendly, so it's not like they were like, oh, this is perfect for our child. It was just like, I don't really know.
She used to watch Disney stuff. I'm sure this is fine.
This is great. Yeah, but I every time somebody mentions that they saw the Black Parade tour, I have to end the conversation because I'm so mad, because I didn't go to any concerts on my own until I turned 18. And so I feel like I missed out on like the classic tours, like the American Idiot tour, all the tours that meant something to me. I did not attend.
You know, what hurts me the most, Paige, is the fact that one of my friends growing up went to the American Idiot tour, and My Chemical Romance opened for Green Day, my two favorite bands, and they brought me a shirt back. And I was like, do you think that this does this justice? Do you think it gets you off the hook for going and not sneaking me in?
Oh, that's rough. Oh my god.
And of course, back in the day, nobody could like film a clip for me or anything like that, you know?
There was
and
no
that's
Snapchat.
Another thing. Exactly. Everything has changed in that aspect as well. And I can't say that I'm a fan of people who hold their phone up the entire show. Like, are you bootlegging the concert, or are you here to enjoy the music, you know?
It's true.
Like, taking a few clips, I definitely understand, but that's one thing that I can't say that I'm a fan of, because it gets in the way. Okay, I'm tall. I know it probably doesn't bother me that much at shows, but still, I think of people who are shorter that go to concerts, and they're maybe already standing behind someone like me, and then everybody else has their hands up in the air with the phone, especially like on the really popular song, and I feel like people miss out on some of the atmosphere as a result. What do you think?
I definitely think that's a problem, and it's so much around how people just want everybody to know they were there. So like they spend so much time on Snapchat trying to make sure that everybody sees that they're there, or filming it so they can post it on Instagram later. But it's like, I don't know how many clips I've actually filmed on my phone from concerts and actually gone back and watched all of the clips again later and been like, wow, what a great time. Because it's like, I wasn't experiencing that. I just filmed it on my phone.
Right, exactly. You saw it through another lens, even though you paid money to go see this band that's right in front of you, possibly. Maybe you're like third row, and like, you know what? I'm actually going to look at it through this. It's smaller. It might not be like as crystal clear, but that's one thing that I think about the modern concert goer that kind of irks me. But in a lot of ways, though, I have to say that it's a lot easier to get your hands on tickets, resell if you end up not being able to make the show, etc. So,
oh my god,
kind of weighing the pros and cons.
Do you remember back in the day when there was no internet to like go on Ticketmaster and get a ticket? You just had to go line up at the venue. No wonder I didn't go to any concerts as a kid. Nobody in my family was like, let's go line up downtown. Absolutely not.
No, I wouldn't have done that either. The only time I ever remember waiting in line for tickets, I think it was like 2005, 2006, Switchfoot and Reliant K, like that one concert I told you about that I went to. That one, like you had to buy tickets at the box office. And I was just like, really? Like, I just got internet in my house for the first time, and you're telling me that I cannot use that in order to get a ticket. Okay.
What a weird time we grew up through. Because not only were we in the time before it and in the time after it, but we were in the in-between transition period where nobody was fully one way or the other yet.
Yeah, it was just an awkward phase, because Paige and I are like the same age, basically. She's turning 24 next month. I'm already 24, or turning 24 this month, sorry. And we went through like the MySpace era where bands started seeing themselves get exposure there, and it was cool to have like, you could display your music to your friends. That was the first place that I ever thought of like sharing music with people on a bigger scale, was the fact that I could like build a playlist, embed it, throw it up on my profile, put a profile song, follow bands, and have bands friend you, and you thought that was like a major deal, that like a band would like actually add you on MySpace, and you're like, oh my god, like they added me, they've got like 7,000 other friends, but they added me.
I actually did not get any friend requests on MySpace and was like, I'm never using these sites again. Who would have thought I'd end up here? But like,
oh no.
I actually, back in the day, no friend requests. I had I don't even know if I had enough friends on there to have a top 8, but I also was too scared to have any pictures of myself on there, so people might have thought I was a catfish. But in 2013, 2014, very recently, I got a friend request from Russell Brand. And I was like, people are still on here?
I was like, on MySpace?
Yeah, it was super weird, but I guess, you know,
that's an honor.
Maybe some people just really enjoyed that era of the internet and aren't ready to leave it behind yet.
I guess Russell Brand and Katy Perry split, and now he's on a downward spiral. I guess he's gone back to drinking and MySpacing on Friday nights.
Maybe he's
Who
just
knows?
kind of regressing back through the years in his mind, and he's ended up at 2006 at this point.
It's like the Benjamin Button effect of the mind,
Exactly.
rolling backwards.
Wait till he gets to ICQ. It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait. Russell, it's funny you mentioned Russell Brand because celebrities on there, it was kind of the first time that people could actually interact with people that they considered to be their idols. And now obviously people constantly tweet Ariana Grande, the 1975, whoever that they want to get noticed by. And it's just some fans and artists are actually able to interact. And 20 years ago, you get fan mail and you do a video and play it at your tour thanking fans for things that you got. I don't even know how you would go about interacting 20, 30 years ago with your fans other than meetups.
Well, I always just remember the episode of The Simpsons where Marge writes a letter to Ringo Starr and then 30 years later finally gets a signed picture from him being thanks Marge, and she's like, ah. And it's I can only imagine. I actually think I wrote a couple letters back in the day and I never got responses from anybody. I'm waiting. It's it hasn't been 30 years obviously, so
Right.
my time will come.
You're waiting for your perfect Simpsons moment.
Exactly. But it's crazy how people can interact with I guess celebrities, but with musicians so easily, because even my grandpa tweets Selena Gomez and then gets mad because she doesn't respond. And I'm like, first of all, don't do that. But he just thinks, he heard her song on the radio and he thought it was good. So he'll be like, good song.
At Selena Gomez.
She didn't respond to me. And I'm like, do you know how many people are sending her that tweet? But then also adding a number so that they can change it a little bit so they can send it 600 times because they need her to see that and be like, thanks. Well, there's artists like Halsey who actually go on and kind of treat their fans like friends that she follows, and she kind of has this opportunity to actually tweet them and treat them like they're people that are part of her life, because they're helping her career and everything.
Right.
But it's kind of changing the way that you see your idols, because back in the day it was the Beatles got off a plane and everybody went crazy, but that was as close as you were ever going to get.
Right.
But with artists now, it's you tweet them and when they don't respond, it's people are heartbroken. But then if they follow you, it's people tweet you being congratulations.
I know.
And you get these timeline accounts that follow you being Halsey followed you, congratulations. And it's what?
It's just
what does this even mean?
People get more excited about somebody a pop star following them than they did for weddings, I feel back in the day, and engagements. Oh my god, congratulations, you got engaged. Now it's oh my god, Justin Bieber retweeted you. I'm so happy for you. This is the best day of your life.
It's crazy because they actually treat it like it is, and it's I don't know, it's it's in their bio, it's hi, I'm this old, I'm from this city, Justin Bieber followed on this day, and I got tweeted by Joe Jonas on this day,
and he
it's
faved
I totally
twice.
put that in my bio too, but
yeah, and he
it's just super weird,
and it's oh, Kevin Jonas faved 3 times, etc., stuff like that, and I'm just I've had okay, let's say this, what's the most famous or notable Twitter interaction that you've had with a celebrity or a musician?
I had a couple weeks ago, I met Snoop Dogg at a charity basketball game, and I posted my picture with him, and he screenshot it. Not well, by the way. He cut off part of it, just kind of screenshot it, and then posted it, but with no caption, no explanation for what was going on, and everybody was like, who's this chick? And I was I'm too scared to comment because these comments are really rowdy.
Yeah, I'm not going to even throw my name in here. I don't want those followers.
No. But then my mom was watching E-Talk, which is a show here that's kind of entertainment news, and the picture showed up on TV, and she's like, what? And like nobody at any point was like, oh, who's this girl? Like, at me, please.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty good one.
You got to take Snoop over to court over that. No proper credit was given. Like, didn't even tag you.
Excuse me.
My goodness.
Exactly. At least put like a little camera emoji in my Instagram handle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even like people like the 1975 do that for photo creds. But
exactly.
like I think the most notable one that I've had is like, I guess it was like a month ago. You probably saw some of this. The whole like interactions with Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco and that sort of thing. That was interesting. Riff Raff follows me, if that says anything. Geez. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one. But for me, it's like I can't see through these other fans' eyes, and it's developed, like fan bases have developed from something to like liking and loving an artist and it being mainly about the music to being about their aesthetic and their, you know, what they put out in the world of social media more than it is almost the music, I feel like, you know?
Yeah. Well, like, look at Kanye right now.
Mm-hmm. And
do you think anybody would have cared that much about the life of Pablo if he hadn't been tweeting, like, my next game's gonna be called Super Nintendo, and, like, it's gonna be a video game instead of an album, and it's gonna be based in space, because I'm going to space.
Right. No, I don't think they would have. But now, unfortunately, people like him have that sort of voice to put things out there, like Bill Gates Mark Zuckerberg invest $1 billion in Kanye West ideas. And it's just like, he has the power to do that, and people will back him. Like,
yeah.
It's just crazy how much that's changed and how, like, rabid some of these fan bases are that will attack.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, we've gone from the word fans to stans, which I didn't even know what that was until, like, 2 weeks ago. And there's no going back, I guess, but I kind of wish I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the way it is with a lot of these things.
Yeah, and I just feel like I wish that there was a little bit more mystery to some of these pop stars, and like people like Sia, like they still, like, she even talked about the fact that she wears the wig now because she wants there to be more mystery, and she doesn't have like a social media presence really other than like her management team tweeting for her and that sort of thing. But
right.
I feel like the wig is almost a stick at this point to draw people and to get people talking about you. If you'd done that 30 years ago, okay, maybe you really are a private and sheltered person and you don't want people invading your space. But now, it's almost like I can't help but see most things as like some sort of marketing tool for fans and to draw more people in. And like, how do you feel about being in like a clickbait type world, even with the world of music? You know, like things that like, they kind of sucker you into getting something because, like, I don't know, you like this band, so do it. Like, buy it.
You mean like crush management?
Yeah.
Hey, you like Panic at the Disco? We got 12 other albums, and you better buy them or you can't get pre-sale codes.
Exactly. Better pre-order the Weezer, New Politics, Lolo, Max, everybody else on the label. They all got new albums, and they're all going out on tour, so you should definitely pre-order that. Then we'll give you the code to get tickets, and they'll still be overpriced.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's a wild time with that sort of thing. And from my experience working at a label, I know that a lot of it is manufactured just from, you know, being in meetings, and they'll be like, by the way,
like, we won't.
This is a thing that is happening next week.
Right.
It's like, you know, it's not all real, but it's not all fake either. And a lot of it is, it's been like this like the whole time. It's not new.
Right.
It's just now, because we have so much access to everything, we're more aware of what is real and what's fake.
Right, exactly. We're much more aware of everything that's going on because, you know, you post something up and like it's meant to be like private, even if you're posting it online. People will find things, and people find ways to like tear holes in pretty much any theory whenever it comes to a musician, their private life. Things are exposed that probably shouldn't be exposed. And I can't help but like miss a simpler time whenever it comes to that, because it's just like, where do we draw the line whenever we get, like, how much do we really want of this person's personal life?
Yeah, it's true, because you want to feel like you kind of know more about them than just, here's their music, but who are they? Because it's like, you know,
yeah. Not
to use too controversial a topic, I know a lot of people love the Beatles, but back in the day, how much did we know about John Lennon and a lot of the bad things that he was up to?
Right.
It was harder to know those things because nobody would be like, hey, I just saw this happen and I'm putting it on the internet. So it's like you could be supporting somebody and then be like, oh my God, I didn't realize they were not that great of a person. Whereas now you know too much and you think everybody's a bad person. They're just human.
It's true. Yeah, to human is to err. And that, back in the day with the whole Beatles thing, it's nice that you drew that kind of correlation there, because with John Lennon and like whatever the rest of the Beatles were up to, you couldn't just pull up your phone, look at Wikipedia and be like, actually, yeah, it says right here that this is why that's wrong, or this actually did happen. Yeah. And I think that knowing all of those things now is something that, like, whenever you go to a concert and you meet an artist, you have a certain expectation of them, you know? Like, whenever you're going up to Brendan Urie or Billy Joe Armstrong or whatever singer or bassist you might be enamored with or just really want to meet, it's just like you have, like, oh, yeah, like, Mark Hoppus is going to be this really cool, chill, funny guy, and it's like you expect them that they have to be that way 24/7.
It's true. Yeah, it's definitely interesting when you meet somebody and their internet presence is completely different from who they really are, and it's almost like you can't be disappointed, because, like, I'm sure I'm different when I tweet things than I am when I talk in person.
Right.
But it's like you have a certain expectation of what's going to happen, and when it goes completely different, like, you're just kind of unaware. But then sometimes you meet people that are exactly the same, and it's almost weird.
I think the main point that I want to talk about with the whole past versus now is just how the artist has been affected, I guess, by the rise of, like, social media and streaming and that sort of thing. Do you think that it's something that makes them stronger and is able to gain them more fans, or the fact that literally anybody can start up a project, especially more electronic stuff? There's so many names out there. You can do things with your computer. Do you think that the waters are just so muddy, for lack of a better term, that it's harder for people to get noticed, even though we are in this modern age where you can put yourself out there?
Well, I think it's yes and no, because it's harder to get noticed because there's so much saturation in the market, but it's easier to get noticed because back in the day, if you didn't have somebody who was like, I am going to take you to the label and have them listen to you, it was like you didn't have a way of getting there.
Right.
So it was like you could be making music somewhere where you don't have access to a big label. Like, they would just never know because they wouldn't know what they were missing out on. Whereas now, A&R teams at labels literally sit on Vine scrolling through, because if you can entertain them in 6 seconds, they know that you're good.
Right. And they know that more people will be interested in that, most likely.
Exactly. And it's like, if they can see and be like, well, they already have this many people interested in them. And you can build that fan base without them having to take their chance to find out. If you'll have a fan base, they know you already do.
Right.
So they're more likely to give you money to make your record. So it's better in the long run, but...
Yeah, I think so, especially for, I mean, like, 10 years ago you didn't have, or 15 years ago, you didn't even have the viral video. Like, maybe not even on Vine, on YouTube. Like, somebody just, like, uploading a cover of a song. You know, it's something that has the possibility, yeah, there might be 100 other covers or even 1,000 other covers of Rolling in the Deep. But that one that hits the right view with the right viewer at the right record label, or somebody that knows somebody, that could get you the exposure that you never would have had. So... I guess neither of us that I'm aware of are musical artists or have any sort of musical projects in the works currently. Am I right to assume that?
That is correct.
Okay, we're working on our synth punk band. Definitely check back in next year. We still haven't figured out the title of it yet, but it's gonna be some great jams.
It's gonna be really good. I feel really good about it.
I don't, honestly, Paige, because your synth playing is subpar, to be quite honest. But I mean,
okay,
yeah, like we've got a year to work on it before our, like, contract actually kicks in. So
I'm already having a little bit of an issue here. So, like,
what's the issue? I don't see what it could possibly be.
I feel really good about my synth playing.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll talk about it later. We can't bore them with our personal details because nobody wants to know things like that, especially in this day and age. Nobody wants to know what's going on behind the scenes. Music streaming is one thing that we didn't really touch on, Paige. Like, that was, like, one topic that I think we accidentally kind of glanced over. Like, I mentioned, like, sharing Spotify playlists or, like, an Apple Music playlist in passing. But that's one thing that I think has a lot of fans torn, because obviously there's people like us that still appreciate, like, you know, collecting vinyl, and I have my CD collection as well. But there's a lot of people out there that seem to think that streaming is some sort of enemy.
I can't disagree with that any more than I do. The problem is you have artists like Taylor Swift and Tom DeLonge who are like top level artists. They are the 1% of artists that are making millions and they don't have to worry about their income. So when their music goes up on Spotify and they're only making like a few cents per spin, they're upset because they're like, well, usually I'd be making millions of dollars. What are you doing? But first of all, think about this. If I really like your album and I listen to it all the time, you probably will end up making more money off of me than if I just bought your CD. But also, because I am a fan, I'm gonna buy your CD and then I'm just gonna go listen to it on Spotify instead. So you're gonna get money from me twice.
Right, exactly what I do. You know, like, okay, I own CD copies of like all this stuff, and like all my vinyl records. Do you think I carry a turntable around in my car listening to that on the go?
I mean,
no,
I doubt
listen
it.
to Spot. No, no, I don't.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. But I do, however, listen to Spotify in my car. I mean, I still have my iPod that I use sometimes, but for new stuff that I just, I haven't downloaded because I don't really download things anymore, and I don't usually import my CDs. It's just so much easier. And like you said, like people are still, at the end of the day, if they like something, they're gonna put money up for it. That's why we see things like Pledge Music. That's why we see things like Kickstarter and bands funding things that way, because obviously if their fan base is there and they really want new music, they want a physical copy, people are gonna invest in you, whether you're making 1/10 of a cent per stream or you're making $1 a stream.
It's true. And my other thing with that is it comes back to music discovery again, which is I think where we started. But if you're a band in Australia, and it was back in the days when you didn't have the internet, like your band probably would stick to Australia unless somebody traveled over there and saw you and then was like, oh my god, I can't believe this crazy band. But
right.
Now you can be in Australia, you put your songs up on Spotify, and some playlist in the Netherlands finds your song and adds it to their playlist. People start listening to it on this big playlist. All of a sudden it's going up the charts. Now other countries are taking notice because they're like, this is happening for a reason. And now your song can actually break just from Spotify. So Spotify isn't good for the top level artists, but it's perfect for the artists that are trying to break and need that opportunity to get themselves out there into the bigger music community.
Right, like they want to break the barrier of their country, especially if they're in a smaller country.
Exactly.
Look at artists like Gautier, 5 Seconds of Summer, Good Charlotte for a vice versa example, because they have a bigger following in Australia now than they do in the US, which is insane to think about.
It is.
But you see all those artists, and especially another one that comes to mind that just recently happened. I don't even think I've listened to much of the music, but Lucas Graham's is one that I noticed was from overseas, that big song 7 Years that's blowing up.
Yep.
When would we have the opportunity to find that other than the word of mouth on the internet? Not necessarily word of mouth in person, but, people sending the track to each other, adding it to playlists, and it's available worldwide, so why not? Why couldn't it take off?
Yeah, and I tend to actually like UK music mostly more than, Canadian music. I don't know. There's a whole stigma against ours, but that's a whole other topic. But
What, you don't like Nickelback, Avril Lavigne, and Simple Plan?
Well, see, there's the thing is we get grouped in with those artists, but we have our own problem up here where if somebody gets famous here, everybody still doesn't like them because they're only Canadian famous. It doesn't mean anything. As if we aren't, I don't know. It's a whole other thing. But I tend to like
Right.
UK music, and I would probably not have as much exposure to it without the internet. And I would be missing out on so much.
Honestly, my favorite albums of the past few years, at least always in the top 2 or 3, there's always 1 or 2 that are from the UK. This past year was Wolf Alice. That was my favorite record of the year.
So good.
From the UK. The year before that, Royal Blood was my second favorite album of that year. From the UK. Definitely with you on that, because I'm thankful that I see these, because you see stuff if you're scrolling through a playlist or even on YouTube through music discovery related videos. It's very, very helpful for people who want new music. There's more than ever at your fingertips.
It's true. I honestly don't know what I would do without it, because back before these days where I had such access, I listened to a lot of just really terrible hip hop and rap music, a lot of Bubba Sparks. That.
Oh my
level,
god,
that level
I
rock.
haven't heard that name. I haven't heard that name in 5 years at least.
I know.
That surprises me, but continue.
Yeah. Well, it was just I was listening to a lot of really mainstream, but not even good mainstream music. It was just kind of like whatever was like catchy and played at school dances and was just not good. And would I have ended up with a career in music, or would I end up being so obsessed with music if I was still listening to like Bubba Sparks? And no, I don't even want to talk about that anymore, but like, no.
Oh, I would definitely like to meet current age Paige that was still super into that.
Oh my God.
You've got like a rap review channel, like Paige Backstage.
That would be the wildest thing ever. I think I have an idea for a new channel.
I don't think we would be having this discussion right now, but...
No, I don't think so either. I don't think anybody needs to discover Bubba Sparks on Spotify. I think he's better left in 2005.
Let's leave him there with Bun B and the rest of the gang.
Please.
We wouldn't be doing this today, though, without the magic of the internet. We brought this collaboration together with the possibility of all these tools, obviously not music related, but it made a collaboration possible for people who love music. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Hopefully you'll go check out Paige's channel, because she's going to break 1,000 subscribers by April, no doubt. Yep. So, like, actually, like, guys, let's take her to 1,000 subscribers. Let's do it, like, right after this video.
Oh my God.
Let's go right over to the channel, linked in the description. You think it's gonna happen or no?
Are you asking me or are you asking them?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be positive. I'm trying to work on my positive vibes, you know? Like, turning 24, I'm like, I should be an adult now. My emo years are not over, but like I feel like I should like attempt to transition a little bit. It's not going well. I'm trying.
Like, My Chemical Romance shirt is still in the closet over there, but I'm gonna put on a good face for the general public.
I go to emo night every single Friday night, and if the Black Parade comes on or Dark Blue by Jack's Mannequin, we all start crying. It is the best. Like, just screaming. Like, I lose my voice every time. So, like, I still live in 2006. I'm just glad that the internet's better now.
Exactly. That we got faster ways to talk about how great everything was in 2006.
We've got Wi-Fi.
And, exactly. And P.S. next time I'm in Toronto, we're going to emo night, like, without a doubt.
Perfect. It's gonna be good. I promise.
It better be, as much as you piped it up.
I know. I really did.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our video today. Go check out Paige's channel, linked in the description down below. Find us on Twitter, because both of us are pretty active on there. I'll put all of those links in the description. And other than that, just let us know what you think about the whole nostalgia versus now thing. Did you grow up in the same era, or are you like more of like the millennial that you've had access to like high-speed internet and like you're used to seeing the artist interact all the time and that sort of thing? Let us know with a comment. And I will see you guys very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.